individual has dual citizenship, so you very much find him in the country, South Africa. His name is Rafgam. Linda is the name of the song. It's featuring Olusha. It's 12 minutes after 8 on Capital Family and Purpose High Frequency. So approximately 1.65 million women have benefited from government housing subsidies since the 90s. And since then, you ladies have been granted the opportunity of being able to sell your houses and get a little profit or transfer those houses to other people. But when we talk of housing subsidies, it's such a complex conversation. Philip Skuman is joining us in studio this morning, and we are going to be unpacking this topic.
For the Mall of the North Marathon, Polokwane's best comrades qualifier. Lace up your running shoes on Saturday, the 6th of April, from 6 a.m. at Mall of the North and take on the challenge of the marathon, half marathon, 10-kilometer or 5-kilometer fun run. Enter online at peaktiming.co.za until 2 April. Please note that the R81 from Solomonvale to Mall of the North will be closed on race day from 5 a.m. till noon. For more info, visit Mall of the North online and social media.
In need of some love this Lovers Month? Then listen to Limpopo's hottest frequency. We've got your back.
Philip Skuman is in studio this morning. He's the broker and owner of REMAX, and we're talking housing subsidies this morning. Morning, Philip. How are you doing?
Morning, guys. Thanks for having me.
So, housing subsidies in South Africa in 2024, more specifically, are they still a reality?
Let's unpack what Complexion said earlier about 1.65 million women benefiting from housing subsidies. If you take that and you divide that by the total population, you'll see that it's 2% of the gross population that have benefited. And that over 30 years.
How many? Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So, okay. Yes, housing subsidies are there and they do work. In fact, we had to actually, when the topic came up, do a bit of research, because the harsh reality is we don't really use housing subsidies, nor have we really ever. And I'll get to why. Okay. But the point is we had to do a bit of research and find out what government subsidies there are actually. And I came across a plethora, about 12. That I've never heard of.
Really? I recently saw something, FLISP, what is that?
FLISP is the major one that is being driven. Okay, so it's Finance Linked Individual Subsidy Program. Okay. Now, this means that you have never had to have benefited from a government subsidy before with regards to housing. And you must also be earning as a household less than 22 grand. Okay. Now, okay, cool. So that's an entry point to the market. But at that, the best you can qualify is 400K.
Sure.
Show me a property
in 2024.
Of 400K. Yes. Show me a property of 400K that you want to buy.
One room and or maybe.
Exactly my point. And now the problem is we in a metropolitan area where there is a normal market bustling. Okay. It's not bustling really, but it's still better than any housing subsidy program we've ever tried. Okay. And we've helped clients with this FLISP thing. And the reality is it does help a little bit, but at best, when you are in the criteria that you can qualify for, you're going to get 30 grand. Now, if your household income is 22 grand, that's a 1 month.
Sure.
Basically, government gives you a 1 month like subsidy for your house, 1 month salary. If you are in the lower bracket, i.e., you are just minimum wage, from there they'll give you a 130,000 benefit. Okay, but again, you need to qualify for the balance of the loan yourself. So the reality is that there is just too much competition in any normal market for a 400,000 rand property. So the thing is, and agents are skeptical about using government subsidies because it's tedious, they take long, the letters of intent, all of the amendments, then they show up, they've got the wrong property details, they've got the wrong price there, they've got the wrong contact details, and then it's amendments and going back and forth. And all the while, this adds time to the transaction, which puts pressure on the seller, the real estate agent, and the buyer. So now I'm asking you, who does this benefit? For 30 grand, you're not going to be able to compete in the market, because let's say I have a normal buyer for a stand, okay? I'm going to choose and I'm going to advise the seller that we need to take the normal bank loan over and above what the client offered with the housing subsidy, because it's just going to take too long. 6, 7, 8 months, is usually the average that these transactions take.
Sure.
And with a normal bank, it's 3 to 4 months. So,
And all the red tape and everything.
and all the red tape. Now, you as a seller, who would you prefer as a buyer? One using a government subsidy or one not using a government subsidy?
I'll go for the bank loan, guys.
Exactly. And then the problem is that now we've got to find you a property. You come to me, you say, listen, I want to use a government housing subsidy.
Sure.
And me as a real estate agent, I'm already going, we have no deal.
Here comes the work.
Here comes the work. Now, then we find you a property and we sign on it. 2 days later, a normal bank loan comes, boom, and they're going to probably throw out your transaction.
Sure.
If the seller can't cancel or whatever. But the point that I'm trying to make is that you'll go past your loan period and your contract will be null and void anyway because of the tediousness of this exercise. So the
Now you're
reality
going to
is,
have to start afresh.
that's what I'm trying to say. So
Snap.
I personally think that they've done government subsidies for housing, and it sounds nice, like the discussion we had about transfer duties being raised and whatnot. But at the end, we've got to work out how helpful is it really, and do the agents actually want to take you out as an applicant? And I'm talking about across the board. I cannot think there's one real estate agent, unless if they've only started yesterday, that will be excited when they get a buyer with a housing subsidy. Even REMAX, which is setups which were done to sort of subsidize anyone with a government salary.
Sure.
They will grant you the loan whether you really qualify for it or not, or whether you have bad debts. REMAX is something to look at, but again, it takes so long that if there's a competing buyer, then you're not going to be successful on your application.
Sure.
So you've basically got to buy an overpriced property, which no one wants, in a market that has an average of 400k, so that you know.
Probably dilapidated as well.
Exactly my point. So yes, it can help you with home ownership, and then we haven't even touched on. Now you own the home, but you can't sell it for 8 years.
Oh.
This is a drawback that nobody
Sure.
thinks about. Yes, you can't sell it within the first 8 years. Then you have to apply to sell it.
Yeah.
From Cogstar, you get what I'm saying. So the same thing with the RDP houses. So we've got to ask ourselves, yes, it will help you to a certain extent, but to find a real estate agent that's going to help you and to find a seller that's willing to sign on your deal, these are two different things. So yeah.
Shame, poor Tinzalo. But
Wow. Sure. Okay. I think, Philip, you've given us a lot to actually think about, and maybe a bit of homework for people to go through. You say you came across 12 of those kind of
Yeah,
subsidies
you can
there.
go.
Go
You can
and just do a
search
bit
it.
of research and just see if there's anything worth your while there. But as you heard, not really a thumbs up, but it depends on what you're really looking for. And thanks, Philip, for coming through and talking to us. That's the broker and owner of REMAX.
Thanks, guys.
Kuma.